PKs Unite. Greetings and salutations. This is your girl, Outspoken Ava. And we're doing a story time. So y'all know that whether it's true or fiction, I'm gonna let you know, okay? And today we have a bit of non-fiction. We got some truth today. Fact and fiction. Okay, so over on TikTok and Instagram, I told you I was gonna tell this story. My next story time was not supposed to be this, so y'all bear with me. Had something else planned, so yeah. So we're gonna talk about how I found out my dad was a preacher. Okay, it's not as compelling as y'all think it is, but go with me for a second. There's some movable pieces to this, right? Okay, those of you who don't know me, okay, I'm Outspoken Diva. I was raised by a single mother. Okay, I have a brother and a sister that I am raised with. Okay, I'm the youngest. For most of my life, I was raised in my grandparents' home with my grandparents, my mom, my brother and sister. Up until I'm 12, my aunt, my youngest aunt, and her two kids live with us. She gets married when I'm 12. Okay, so we got that point, right? What you don't hear in this, well, not never really in this story, is an ad. Okay, when I was 3 months old, my parents separated. They tell the same story on why they separated. So the story, I just found out a piece of it. I was like, what? I mean, it's a minor piece, but it's like, do what? Oh, okay. Wow. But they both tell the same story now. How their attitudes about it are totally different, but were totally different. But okay. So okay, of course, being a 3 month old baby, I go with my diva. Okay, all right. Bits and pieces in my life. He'll call every night into the house. One time when I was 7, we'll tell that story around Thanksgiving time. One time when I was 7, I spent Thanksgiving with my dad and his people. And we'll talk about that on Thanksgiving. Okay, y'all remind me. Okay, and then because of that, he's really in and he's really not. He's really not around. Okay, after that, then be like I saw him when I was 9. And then the next time I physically saw my father or even heard from my father when I was 15. Okay, so um I'm 15. I'm a sophomore in high school, right? Okay. This is the early to mid 90s, okay? If I find out this incident is a case study on why y'all have to have lists on who can pick up your kids and come to see your kid and stuff in school. It's warranted, okay? It's warranted to be a case study. So my dad showed up in my school. Okay, I went to a magnet school. At that time, not this is before uh the big magnet school in Dallas. This is when we was all still separated. Okay, um, he comes and I don't know he's there. I'm in my sixth period class. I'm in the period before the end. No, like there's we had 7 periods back then, so I'm in sixth period, and the new vice principal, shows up at my. This is like March. This is March, and the new vice principal comes to the door, tells the teacher they need to see me. Now I'm not a student that gets in trouble, so why are you here? Okay. So he I go outside. He's like, "Hey, this man that's your dad is here," and I'm like, "What's his name?" He's like, James, my biological last name. He doesn't get accused his name. Sorry, guys. His name will be James. Okay, my biological last name. I was like, oh yeah, that's him. And he was like, and now James is coming down the hallway. He's like, are you safe to be? I was like, yeah, I'm safe. Trust me, I'm safe. He's like, oh okay. And Mr. Coco, we'll call him Mr. Coco, was like, hey, yeah, I told him I didn't really know you because, which is a good thing because that means you're not been in my office. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, he said, I think I gave you your watch back one time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Watch on my wrist, Timex. Okay. So James is like, hey, how you doing? Da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm sniffing because I know other times I have been with him, age 7, alcohol has been involved. And yeah, no alcohol was involved, no, that I know of, right? So I'm like, okay, what's up? Da, da, da. And he's like, oh, I just came to see you and stuff like that. Oh my God, your feet. Like my feet, I am extremely pigeon toed. Not like what they do like this, but they turn in, and his feet do that. Okay. Uh, oh girl, da 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 da. No, we just, he's chopping it up. I'm like, I am in school. Okay, I am missing geometry like I wanted to be in geometry, but I wanted to be in geometry because I'd rather be in geometry than talk to you. Okay. Okay. So he's like, oh yeah 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 yeah. How's your mama? I'm like, she's fine. Da, da. He's like, all right, all right, all right. Okay. Here. He gives me this envelope. All right, you take care of yourself. All right, baby. I'm like, okay, thank you. All right, good to see you. Yeah. I don't say nothing. I go back to class. I put this envelope in. Da da da. When it's time for the bell rings to change classes. I go to my locker and I look at what's in the envelope. $75. Okay, big. So get home now. Again, I'm watching my grandparents because my grandparents at home, and I'm watching them. They're not acting squirrely or anything. So I'm like, okay, the school has not called my house, and that's interesting. Again, case study, okay. Because I would have called my parent. I would have called my mother. I would have called the parent on the sheets, okay. My mom gets home, and I was like, hey, let me tell you this, because apparently, and she's like, so I tell her, she's like, do what? So then I hand her the money, right? And I was like, here, you know, he don't owe me, he owe you. So she's like, oh, okay, thank you. This kind of stuff. She's like, okay. She's like, you fine? You okay? You didn't? I'm like, no. So okay, all right. I'm not gonna call up the school. I'm gonna take their word for it. But something else, he come up here again. You call me directly. I say yes, ma'am. Okay. Fast forward to June, May or June, beginning of June. Yes, church. We go on this trip to San Antonio. Medeva reaches in her jewelry box and hands me that same envelope. That's my spending money because my trip is already paid for. That's my spending money for the trip. This is the 90 $75 goes a long way. Okay, I came home with money. Okay, okay. So fast forward like September. No, let me go back. Let me go back. I'm sorry, I didn't got to hit I said it's not September. Good to August. No, August. April. April. All of a sudden, there's these intricate envelopes that have like brown envelopes that have tapes and letters and stuff there from my dad, and they're not mailed. They're just sitting there. My grandparents stay in the same house, so he knows where they stay, and they're just there. We're talking about like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. You're putting these here, okay? So I'm like, okay, so I put them on the bed. My grandfather give them to me, or he'll give them to my mom. My mom will hand them to me, whatever, right? So I eventually get around to, like on the weekends, to listen to these things or read these letters. And this is how I find out he is becoming a pastor. He has been feel like he has been called to the ministry. And on September the 15th, I know the date. Uh, Come see me at Star Bethlehem Baptist Church. I didn't even know that was a real. I was like, what? Star Bethlehem? Who names a church Star Bethlehem? My bad, Star Bethlehem. Okay, y'all got us the sorry side. Okay, whatever. Then it was like all these like ramblings about family history and why his mother didn't love him and didn't raise him, and because his daddy this and Big Mama this, and Big Mama was she owned a funeral home. Just these ramblings and these tapes and these letters, And this went on for like a week, 2 weeks. Until one morning, well, one late night, like when I say morning, I mean like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I heard shots next door. My neighbor sees somebody coming up on our porch. Now, our neighbor is crazy. I don't want to call it crazy, but you know, he's about that life. I would say it that way. Okay, you don't mess with his, his neighbors or his neighbors. Okay, and yeah, pop pop. Okay, he did a couple of water shots in there, and James skedaddled. Okay, well, uh, Mr. Flower, we'll call him Mr. Flower, knew who it was. It was like, oh, you better stay your behind from. I better not catch you over here anymore. No, no, I don't even care if they bring you. You better not be here. I better not catch you. He's skedaddled. Hear nothing else from him and that. On that, it wasn't like letters and stuff like that. I turned 16. I got a phone call. Uh, and of course, the happy birthday. Well, he ends up leaving a voicemail. No, on the answer machine. So I'm like, oh, okay, okay. So it's happy birthday. Did I go see my father preach? No, I was not going to this because now I understand like bipolar and schizophrenia and stuff like that. I feel like my father was probably having a high when he kept doing these letters and tapes and all of those type of things. Was he ever called to was he really called to preach? I don't know. Okay, I'm not God. Some people were sent, some people just went. Okay, that's what I say. I don't know. Okay, apparently the fine folks at the Star of Bethlehem felt as though he was a minister, so they ordained him and gave him license and that kind of stuff. So okay, other ministers that I know felt like he was legit. So okay, fine, okay. But yeah, I do know that those, now I understand that those high highs and those low lows were probably uh manic and bipolar, the manic and the depressive states and stuff like that. So yeah. So yeah. This is how I found out my father had become a preacher, and yeah, this is how I found out that I am technically a PK. Now, if you were watching you come from here on TikTok, we talk about E. When I'm 29, my father passes over, passes on, leaves this world for the next. And E, okay, so if this story is on here, I'll leave it down below. Um, if I haven't told the story, I will tell the story. I'll tell it in its entirety. But I did not stay. I did not. When I found out, I was already going to Houston, so I went on my trip. So I didn't go to the funeral. But when people call for condolences, E is one of them, and he's like, I did not know that Outspoken Diva's biological name is a PK. Wow, that's the joke. Okay. So every now and then he gives me a pound. What up, my sister in PK hood? That kind of stuff. So yeah. So yeah, that is the sordid tale of of how I found out. Yeah. So how I become a PK. So yeah. So did I live life like what? No. Again, most people know that I am a good girl presenting. Don't ask. Most time at church I was sitting there like this. If they ask me to do something, of course, Madiva didn't play that, you're not gonna participate in church. You gotta participate in church. But don't ask me nothing. Don't don't make me talk. Don't everybody feel like, oh, if you sit by her, you're gonna be good. No, you're not. But y'all gonna keep talking. Either I'm gonna tell you shut up or we're gonna talk. So yeah. But yeah, that's my sordid tale. So yeah. Yeah, so yeah, got any comments or anything, leave it down below in the comment section. I don't know if I'm putting this on Facebook because my family's there, so yeah, we'll see. But if you see this, I mean, of course, on any social media site that you see this on. Of course, put your comments down below there. I'm having a brain fart, but that's because my nose just to run. I feel it. So yeah. Other than that, talking to you in adult terms.